In my quest to kind of find what is the best 14500 flashlight, I had to pick up one of these PS14s. Now, not only does it match my Axon perfectly, but I was hoping that it may actually be a great solution because it has a dual emitter setup. It is, however, a light that I don't know if it's for everyone, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about why that is in this review. So I hope you'll stick around. If you like it, like and subscribe. Let's get to it. Alright, so this is, of course, the PS14 by MecArmy. A really, really well-built flashlight. A little bit longer than what you might expect from what would be basically a AA flashlight. So this one is the Skill Hunt E2A. And you can see it's a little on the longer side, which actually I really like. And I really like that because it gives me a full grip on the flashlight. It does not have a reversible clip, but for me personally, this is never an issue because I'm able to clip this into a slot in my hat and then it still faces outwards if I want to do hands-free. Also, another way to do this is to have this hook on my necklace, which then I can work hands-free again. The clip is really good retention, nice and wide, so it doesn't rip any seams in the pockets or anything like that. I actually really, really like this clip. The button is anodized titanium, as well as this body for this particular model. And at first, I wasn't so keen on the way the button felt, but it got better as I pressed it. So I'm going to guess it's going to continue to get better as I go because the anodization is probably why it's a little sticky. Or it just makes that sound you can hear. But it's gotten better even in the very short time I've had it, which is only a few hours. It can tail stand, which I do appreciate as well. And as you can see here, we have a 2 emitter setup, one in neutral white and one in cool white. Okay. Now, the next thing I think we should really touch on is, well, we'll do the hardware part and then we'll go to software at the end. The two emitters, neutral white, cool white, but they are identical on the exact type that they are. And neither one is a high CRI. For the price, I would really like to see a more diverse combination. Something that would be particularly of interest to me and I would snap up in an instant would be a throwing emitter such as an Osram flat emitter, and then a very high CRI Nietzsche or SST20, something like that. Something that would be floody and warm and high CRI. The combination of those two would be wow. I mean, that would make it one of the best flashlights, maybe in ever, as of right now. As it is, I think most people are going to find that the differences are pretty minimal between the two emitters. It does, however, offer an insane output of almost 1200 lumens. And from what I can tell, it's not that far off. It's 1200 lumens, but you get a much wider range of light. It's not as concentrated, so it's much better for lighting up a large area than it is for projecting a long distance. And this type of reflector really, I think it definitely lends itself to doing that. Now that's kind of the like, I want to see a lot of different setups. I could see having a throwing white, cool white emitter with a blue light for hunters, the same thing but with red light for tactical use. UV plus cool white for people who want to do inspections, etc. There's so many ways you can combine emitters that would be incredibly attractive to people. And I think that that's kind of a missed opportunity here that I would really like to see rectified in the future if there's other iterations of this light. And at this price point, I think that a good emitters is an actual requirement. They have to be some of the best ones out there. They really do. This is, was it $80 or is it $90 for the aluminum and $180 for the titanium? That's a lot of cheddar for what is basically a fairly standard set of emitters. That is something that I hope to see changed. Is it one of the brightest, or if not the brightest, 14500 flashlight out there? Yes, absolutely. It's one of the brightest, no question. But I would definitely like to see it be better when it comes to selection on the emitters. Now, let's go to the UI. So UI is pretty clever. So you have a single button, and you first of all have to select which mode, whether you want a full turbo always, which is selected by unscrewing the head a little bit. Now when I click the button, full turbo only. That's it, which actually is one of my favorite things. And I started really liking that when I got the ICTAC D3A, but this is another one of those flashlights that does that really well. Now, if I tighten it up again, the next three modes in here are low, medium, high. I think they start out at around 12 or 13 lumens in the low, so it's not super low. I would like to even see it lower. Definitely would be one of my recommendations. And with a high of somewhere in the 600 range, or about half the turbo. Okay, so there's one in the middle. They're pretty well spaced. The one issue we're going to run into, and I'll show you in just a second, is that there's another mode included in this cycle of 3. There's 4 modes total, and let's take a look. That was high, then strobe, then low, medium, or I should say low, high, and so on. I have absolutely no understanding of why there's a strobe mode fit into that lineup of low, medium, high. It honestly, I'm still trying to figure it out, but it really feels misplaced, that it really shouldn't be there. And I think had it not been there, or had no strobe on this light at all, it would have been a much stronger sell for me. I definitely think that would be the case, because actually I really like that. Low, medium, high as one setup, and then also turbo as a different setup entirely. I actually kind of like that. The strobe in the middle of the EDC functions really messes that up for me. The other things that I found really would be helpful is to actually remove the memory from this flashlight. It may seem like memory is always good, but not when you have a flashlight like this. When you can select between 2 different mode sets and you can access them easily in a mechanical sense using the head, you want to know that when you turn on the button that you're going to come in on your lowest setting. If I'm using this for EDC purposes, I'm walking around the middle of the night, I don't want to blow my vision out with a strobe mode, because the last mode I happened to be in was turbo. Because if I turn it on, I go to high, and now I want to go select the low mode. The moment I turn it back on, I'm going to hit myself with strobe first and then come in on the low. That's not an enjoyable experience. If I can always come in on low when I have the EDC mode selected, I think it would be far, far better. What I'm going to do with this flashlight, more than likely, is pretty much just leave it in the turbo mode. This will be like basically a 14500 tactical flashlight for me, with both emitters on at all times. I don't see right now it being used as something that I grab when I want to look at something up close, and that's because I can't be sure what mode I started in last, because it does have memory, and strobe is one of those 3. So because of that, I have to be very cautious. I have to like put it against my hand and kind of get a sense of what mode it's on before I can even press it. That's kind of a user interface problem that I think kind of really hurts a flashlight like this. And when you're paying this much, you really want a better user experience. I do think that this is also a very easy thing for them to fix. And from what I can tell from MecArmy in the past, their quality has never been an issue. Little tweaks like that, though, make a big difference, and I have a feeling they could do that very easily. So I look forward to seeing how they update this flashlight in the future. As of right now, this is the most powerful 14500 flashlight that exists, as far as I can tell, from a single battery. 1200 lumens, if that's correct, and it looks pretty close to that. that's something to achieve. So I'm pretty impressed. I think the fit and finish on this, MecArmy always does an amazing fit and finish. My X7S, which I've had forever, it just was phenomenal when I got it. It's still phenomenal. I really like the company. I just would love to see the user interface and the emitters, be tuned up a little bit better. Because I think if it does, this is probably one of the best, if not the best, EDC flashlight. You change the UI and you change the emitter, all of a sudden you have one of the best combinations you can get, because this is essentially two flashlights. You can get basically the functionality of two in just one. So this is my quick review of the MecArmy PS14. Hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a great day.